A business owner, a Christian, and an Angels fan.
Olivia left me. She's gone. I'm going to trial, and she's gone.
What happened?
We got into a fight, the worst. She said if I would have listened to her, none of this would have happened. When they found Beth's body, she freaked. I could see her thinking that maybe I did it.
She knows you're innocent. She'll be back.
I don't think she will. Them finding Beth's body is bad.
We've been looking for other suspects. We have other leads, Jake.
But they have a real case now.
Yes, they do. It's okay. Because you got us.
The temperature of the water combined with the tarp Mr. Garcia wrapped her in before dumping her kept her well preserved.
Could you spare us the prejudicial comments and stick with the facts? See that? There's the cut on her foot, which confirms Jake's story.
We'll get a photo of the cut on her foot if we have time.
Make time now. The defense has as much right to get evidence from the autopsy as the prosecution. We want that photo to prove our case.
The fact that she cut her foot has nothing to do with whether Garcia strangled her.
Take the photo. You want me to bring a judge down here to argue it? I'm sure he's not going to be happy.
I cannot pinpoint a time of death, but clearly the cause was asphyxiation by strangulation. Her larynx was crushed with enough force to cause splinter fractures in her C2 vertebra. She also has these contusions all over her arms.
Signs of a struggle. She fought back against Garcia, but he overpowered her anyway.
Bruises don't tell you who she struggled with. Could you save your arguments for the jury? It'll make things go faster.
Flip her over, please. Don't. Your court order says you're here to observe. That's all.
We're observing your medical examiner cutting corners. Flip her over now.
Fine. Do what she wants.
Okay.
Anonymous tipsters are protected by victims' rights and witness laws. Defense has no right to the person's identity.
We are entitled to a copy of any audio tape you have of the tip. Look, I was a DA a long time. I know how important tipsters are. I convicted those guys who killed that sheriff's deputy out in Lancaster. Did you know that? Now, we broke that case through a tip. I respect tips.
For what it's worth, sounds to me like it came from a payphone.
She's by the buoy in Channel 4 of the Marina.
That's the voice of the person who tipped the police off to the location of Beth's body.
A lot of background noise that's going to take a while. Even if I figure out who it is, I might not be able to testify about it. A lot of judges won't admit voice meta-analysis as evidence.
You just figure out who the voice belongs to. We'll worry about your testimony later. Whoever it is might be the key to the case. Yes. That's who Bennett is? I want him served with a trial subpoena today.
Now is when you need to be there for him. Have you spoken to anyone about the case since you moved out?
The Orange County DA called me. I haven't called him back. He wants to know if Jake was ever violent with me.
He wasn't.
How do you know?
Because Jake has no record of it. And you're not the kind of woman who would stay with him if he had been. Right? You love him.
Yeah, but I should have left him after he wouldn't get engaged to me.
Why wouldn't he?
Because he's stupid, and he doesn't listen. I told him to quit the bar and go back to school. But he'd been a busboy here and worked his way up. He'd seen how much those women were willing to spend to hang out with the bartenders. He doesn't appreciate me, so why should I wait around for him?
You couldn't love him if he was capable of doing something like this. Don't turn your back on him now.
Mr. Bennett, sir. Luther Graves, TNT&G. How can I help you?
You subpoenaed me for the Garcia murder trial.
Yes, that's right. I hope that doesn't inconvenience you.
Why are you calling me? I don't have anything to do with this case, and I don't want to be involved.
Really? Not involved? Well, I hope we didn't subpoena the wrong person. We checked her phone records. Beth Conway set an appointment to see you the week after she disappeared. Did she keep that appointment with you?
I can't tell you that. That's privileged. Attorney-client.
Yes, it is. But that privilege belongs to Beth Conway, not you. Only she can assert it. You could help save an innocent man from being convicted by telling us if you met with her.
Beth never showed up for our meeting.
Can you tell us why she wanted to meet with you?
Absolutely not. I will not divulge the content of our conversation. That is strictly confidential.
I see. What type of civil law do you practice, Mr. Bennett? Now, that's not privileged information. You can't tell me that. The State Bar says your specialty is family law and estate planning. You write a lot of prenuptial agreements, Mr. Bennett.
I bet you were doing one for Greg Hall and Beth Conway.
Okay, the DA's story is that Beth Conway was strangled by a person facing her. But when we flipped her body over, I found something. The bruises on her neck indicate that she wasn't strangled that way. Watch. Now, I took the autopsy photos and I made a 3D recreation. If Beth had been strangled from the front, the bruises on her neck would have been at these angles. The marks on Beth's neck don't look like that. So instead of overlapping thumb marks in the front,
She's got a center thumb mark bruise on the back of her neck.
it's more consistent with someone strangling her from behind. So, based on that new information, I approximated the size and the shape of the killer's hands. Then I took measurements of Jake Garcia's hands.
And what do the results of your demonstration tell us, Dr. Shaw?
That the Orange County medical examiner is mistaken. Beth Conway could not have been strangled by Jake Garcia. The damage to Beth's C2 vertebrae was much more significant than the damage to her larynx.
Miranda, you're the consultant. What do we need?
She needs a bright-colored suit. Anything but red. Something these women would wear themselves. They don't love women lawyers, at least not dressed like Alden. Too slick, too polished, too Hollywood.
So, Alden will go Laura Bush, we'll tone down our suits, and I'll switch my Cartier to a Timex. We still have our secret weapon, Tom. What the hell's going on? The dials are going down. Is it our expert?
If you want my opinion, I think they like Dr. Shaw. What they hate is the demonstration.
We used something like it last year and it scored off the charts.
That's L.A., Ron. Orange County jurors are suspicious of theatrics.
So what are you telling me? We can't try cases out of L.A.?
Tom's sincerity works great, everywhere. Luther's background as an ex-prosecutor gives him high numbers across the board. Alden has problems in the South and Midwest, but you dress her right, she's fine.
And?
You're good in L.A., Ron. Want my advice? Hire some local counsel, give yourself some OC cred. It'll help.
I stripped out a lot of the background noise.
This is by the buoy from Channel 4 of the Marina.
Sounds like a man.
It could be a woman with a low-pitched voice. I can tell you one thing. I asked your client for an exemplar. Listen.
She's by the buoy in Channel 4 of the Marina.
No way it's your guy.
We need to compare it to the voices of the people who had a motive to kill Beth Conway. One of them might be the anonymous tipster.
Then I'll need more voice samples.
We record every press conference and TV report. If somebody involved in this case was a tipster, we'll have their voice.
Broadcast audio is not good enough.
No problem. We'll get it from the courtroom. So, what's our story? Who are we going to say killed Beth Conway?
I vote for the groom. Greg. Beth left him the night before they were supposed to get married to go have a drink with another guy. Now that's gotta hurt. And Greg's old girlfriend told me that Walter Hall has a temper. Maybe Greg does too.
The maid of honor is a better candidate. She dated Greg and she never got over him, right?
Plus, we could see it when they were on the news the other night.
She couldn't have moved the body by herself. Maybe she was working with somebody else, but I doubt it.
Go back to Walter Hall. According to Beth's lawyer, Walter wanted her to sign a prenup. Greg said he was married before, right? The first wife walked away with millions from the family. Walter does not seem like the kind of man who would let that happen again.
Beth refused to play ball. Could have set him off.
Killing your daughter-in-law because she wouldn't sign a prenup? I don't buy it.
Then you don't know enough rich people. Money is exactly what they kill for.
I'm going to ask again. Who are we going to say killed Beth?
Why choose? Let's point to as many people as possible.
I don't like the shotgun approach.
Why?
Why? Because it doesn't work. We need to pick one. It'll make us look more credible to the jury.
We don't need to look more credible. We have you. We need to throw as many suspects as we can against the wall and hope something sticks to make reasonable doubt. Period.
Any of them could have done it? That's not a story, Ron. That's not anything.
We don't need a story. All we need are questions. Good questions about Maggie, Greg, Walter, whoever. Put enough good questions together, you got a beautiful mosaic called reasonable doubt. You just have to paint it right.
Jake Garcia faces justice in an Orange County courtroom and two families seek closure. The Conways and the Halls. They gathered for marriage, but they got murder. On the eve of the trial, TNT&G added legendary Orange County litigator Wayne Dornan to the team.
Great to have Wayne aboard. Don't talk.
Nice suit.
Shut up.